and welcome to today's edition of Cafe Diversity. I'll be your host, Sarah Nata. As always, today's show is brought to you by WCG-TV and Westman Immigrant Services. Today I have two very special guests with me. If you could just give us a second and introduce yourselves and who you are.
I'm Jillian McDonald.
Okay. And what is it that you do?
I'm an artist, and I'm visiting Brandon from New York.
Ooh, New York, fancy. Okay, thank you. And next?
And I'm Natalia Lebedinskaia. I'm the curator at the Art Gallery of Southwestern Manitoba, and I'm facilitating Jillian's residency.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you're staying with us for a while then?
For 2 weeks, yes.
2 weeks, okay,
yes.
Very good. So you're here, I understand, doing some filming for a project that you've got coming up? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a short video / film being filmed in landscapes in and around Brandon.
Okay.
And as far away as Riding Mountain National Park.
Ooh.
And it's all going to be edited into a short film that will be showing in September at the gallery.
Okay, September this year, 2015?
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Now, are you working on this project by yourself, or do you have anybody helping you?
Well, I have lots of people helping me. Lots of local citizens are helping.
Okay.
They're actors in the film.
Okay.
So the gallery generously put out a call for actors, and we've been working with some wonderful people of all ages.
Okay. So just people from around the community come in to help you? Okay. Because when you say landscaping, I think, you know, just trees and nature and happiness, and you've got people in there as well.
Yes, there are people. However, the people are dressed as animals.
Oh.
So they're a bit, well, they're sort of a hybrid between people and animals. And they're all animals that are specific to Manitoba. Okay. So most are wild animals, but there are a couple of domesticated animals. Okay. Lambs and a cow, for example. But most are wolves and seal and polar bear and fox. And in fact, Natalia plays a fox, if I may say so.
Yes. I want to see it just for that.
One of the two foxes. One of the two foxes.
Oh, cool. Okay, so what was the idea behind that, of having people portray the animals?
Well, it's a bit of a follow-up piece, and as yet untitled completely, but it's a bit of a follow-up piece from a production I made in Northeast Scotland, which was called Valley of the Deer, and which featured about 50 actors from all over Northeast Scotland and a little bit Northwest Scotland, dressed as animals that were specific to Scotland in that case, and kind of haunting the landscape. So I have a background of working with themes from horror films. Oh, okay. Themes and kind of moral tales from horror films, although I'm kind of transitioning out of that and into more of like local folk tales and just sort of stories about place. So again, animals here. Right. It's similar in the sense that it's landscape and it's animals. And the animals populate the land as they do. So.
Okay, that's interesting. I never would have thought of it that way. I like that. All right. So you said your work is untitled as of now. Yes. Do you have a working title?
Not anymore. I have one, but I've scrapped it.
just no more. Yeah, no more working title.
No, not at the moment. Not anything I'm ready to disclose.
Okay, it'll be a secret for our viewers. Yeah. It's a secret. We won't tell you yet.
Yes, right. although the plan was to come in full snow, and I was promised, I'm just kidding, promised full snow in March, so the theme is transitioning a little bit because we're actually in the thaw, not in the snow. So that's why the title is changing.
Okay. It is very surprising for all of us who live in Manitoba as well that there is no snow. Come back in May and it will be back. Right. Yeah, that's when it'll be back. Right. Have you ever done work in Canada before, or is this your first time?
I'm Canadian. Actually. I'm from Winnipeg originally.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well.
And I've done a lot of work in Canada.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting.
In fact, I shot a short film, I'm not sure if Natalia knows that, in rural Manitoba previously.
Oh, the zombie one.
The zombie one. Yes. Close to Winnipeg, near Lake Winnipeg, around that area.
All right. Have you always done like the sort of horror idea?
No. I have since about 2006. Been making artwork that, I mean, I don't shoot horror films per se. I make artwork that references horror films, archetypes from horror films, places from horror films, and characters and storylines. Okay. But since before that, I was doing work, and it still keeps coming back a little bit, where where I talk a little bit more about celebrity and fan culture. So we are in a green screen room here, which not everybody will be seeing that, but I've done a lot of work on green screen, putting myself into stories with existing films with actors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting, okay.
So much more humorous than the current work.
All right. So you're here for 2 weeks. Were you invited by the AGSM?
Yes.
Yeah, we were sort of talking about the project for a few years, and when I started my job here 3.5 years ago, like pretty much in the first year, I think you came and visited and kind of talked about that you wanted to do something in the winter, and this winter seemed to work, and then the winter turned into spring.
I chased it away.
Yeah.
There was actually 2 snowstorms on the way from Winnipeg to Brandon a week ago.
Yeah, and you were like
arrived.
completely
I was
soaked.
so excited.
Where it's like, oh, the snowstorm.
And then it disappeared.
Psych. Yeah. Thank you, Canada.
Yeah, but we were just, I had some moments of panic, which Natalia held my hand through and soothed me through, and now I'm embracing the thought.
It's good to be flexible, right?
Yeah.
You never realize how flexible you can be until you have to be flexible.
Right, exactly. Yeah, sometimes through the stress you can break.
Yeah, exactly.
You can break into calm.
Yeah.
Now, does that happen a lot? Like you have a certain idea of what you want to do, and then something will happen. In this case, the weather not cooperating.
You can only plan so much.
Yeah.
I mean, the work is a bit performative and a bit experimental in the sense that when I get there, the place is going to, and the people that are involved are going to dictate some of it.
Okay.
I have like a vague picture in my head, but I have no idea what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, when I went to Scotland, I had one image in my head, which was a deer character in a foggy landscape. And it ended up being a 48-minute film with 50 actors, landscapes all over the place.
Oh,
and
wow.
the place was so beautiful, I ended up staying for 9 months.
Oh.
Don't worry.
I'm like, okay, you're welcome to it. I don't say no.
I'm moving in.
We're keeping it.
Our live-in artist is what
Yeah.
it will be now. Okay.
So you never know what's going to happen.
That's good. That's really interesting. So, Natalia, then I have a question for you. Is what made you decide to have an exhibit like this?
Well, we've been developing this loose residency program for a few years now. So we've had a few previous artists in residence, and the premise for the program is to bring someone in, someone who kind of matches other either exhibitions or themes that we're working in at the time, and to invite them to create a new work here, a work that's responsive to the place here, ideally involving people from the place here. So this is kind of like a perfect example. And then show work in Brandon. And what it does is it exposes people who otherwise would not encounter the artistic process to it.
Right.
And because they're more engaged in it, in its making, they're then more ideally kind of open to reception of it. So they understand like video art is not something that is shown a lot in Brandon. So by being involved in it and seeing it be produced, that investment then translates into being invested in the final piece and going to see it and inviting their friends to see it, and exposing them maybe to a medium that they haven't really explored before.
Okay.
So when Jillian proposed this project, it was like kind of a perfect match to this program, and we've had during my stay here 2 other artists. We had Jason Berg 2 years ago, a year and a bit ago, who did a project with the local Aboriginal community.
Oh, okay.
Where he took photographs during different gatherings and kind of went to the Children's Activity Center, went to the elders gathering, took photographs of people and then transformed them into these digital abstract portraits. That were then included in the exhibition. So those people came out to see how their community was being represented in the gallery space. Okay. Or actually someone you know well, Marie Michaels, came here, I suppose this would have been 2 and a bit years ago. Okay. And made a new project with the local Hutterite community. So she made these hand-powered machines that talked about local agriculture and sustainable agricultural practices. Okay. And its interaction with technology, which really, again, one of those kind of happy coincidences, really struck a chord with the local Hutterite community.
Right.
Because they kind of straddled that embrace of technology at the same time as tradition.
Right. Yeah, it's this fine balance.
Yes,
right,
this fine balance between the two. So she really enjoyed working with the Hutterite schools and made a new piece. And I think the schools are probably still using it now as a teaching tool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and it was in conjunction with an exhibition that she had.
Oh, that's really
so
cool.
People would come to see the show. They would come to see her open studio. They, could see some of the pictures of the project that she was doing in the Hutterite school, and then she made another smaller hand-operated machine there at the gallery as well with a local high school. So yeah, there's these kind of connections that come out of these projects that are really meaningful, and like the relationship with the Hutterite community we still have.
Oh, that's nice.
Like they actually still come in for tours of exhibitions and stuff like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
and
really nice.
The same goes for the Brandon Friendship Center, which was a relationship that was kind of cultivated as well with the Berg residency. So I'm hoping that lots of the people who we've met through the casting call and people who've been curious about the project will kind of keep coming to the gallery and
Okay. Now you've mentioned a little bit about the people who answered the casting call and that you've selected for your film. You're saying that they're all different ages. Now, Brandon is a very multicultural town now, due to a lot of reasons. Have you noticed a wide variety of different ethnicities coming out as well, or?
Not a wide variety, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, there are a few like First Nations participants.
Okay.
Trying to think who else. There was a wonderful Métis man who showed us around Verdun.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Yes, who like knew the land there more than we could ever have hoped for. We're like, we're meeting this man where like I've only talked to him on the phone once, and we're going out to this other city so that he could show us around, and he was just like absolutely fantastic and like knew where to go. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, this happens, like the incredible generosity of people. He didn't know us at all.
Right.
I don't think he had a relationship with the gallery, but he just called and offered to show us around, and we spent like at least half a day with him.
Oh, wow.
In various farmyards and raw prairie-scapes and somebody else's private 94-acre sand dune.
Oh, wow.
And gave us free rein and very much trusted us. He left us in the land. That he trusted us and we trusted him.
Right.
And not only that, he put on a mask and played a part, very much last minute, very like in
and
the
like knew
spirit
exactly
of the
what to do.
And
that was
and knew exactly, and like embodied the animal that he very much that he was playing. And we had a really lovely time with him.
Oh,
it was actually really great.
Oh, that's good. I like hearing little stories like that. It's nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then one of the photographers from the show that opened on Thursday, Brian Milne, who lives around Riding Mountain, showed us around Riding Mountain on Sunday.
Okay.
So because, he had the show, and because from the show I found out that he really knows the landscape there, he was able to show us around the Riding Mountain landscape as well.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was
good. These nice little connections and how we're all connected to each other. That's really cool. Going back to the so far unnamed show that will be happening in September. So we don't have a definite date yet, which is okay. September 2015 is a bit away, but not too far away. People won't forget, hopefully. And I have a question about that. Is it going to be screened at the AGSM then? Okay.
Yeah.
And will there be like a fee to come and watch the show, or it will be?
Oh no, all free.
All free?
All free.
Again, my favorite price
always.
in the entire world is free.
And I think we're talking about kind of doing a little bit of other kind of installation things with it too that will, I think, come out of looking back at the footage and seeing how.
There may be some drawing elements and maybe some interactive elements too. We'll see.
Cool. I mean, the opportunities are endless, right? There are lots of ideas that you can do that come out of this being the central figure, right? It's really cool. So you said you work with film and you've been doing that for a while. Is film the only medium that you use as an artist, or?
I do a lot of performance. And drawing now as well. And I have done some new media artworks. The part of the project I did in Scotland, and this could potentially happen with this with this new project. I don't know yet. It's so new, it's happening right now. I did an augmented reality component, which basically meant that some of the characters from the film could be viewed locally. So if the exhibition came to a city, for example, it came to Calgary, you could walk around town in the vicinity of the gallery, and with your mobile phone or other mobile device, using a small free app, you could see characters from the film and click on them, and they'd be in your view. So if I was filming you, it could appear right beside you, or in the background, etc.
Really?
Yeah,
that is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
It's very cool.
Yes.
It's very cool. So, and then click on the character and play a portion of the film that relates to that character.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome. That never would have crossed my mind ever in my life. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I'm
and
very
you end
excited.
you end up with these like really cool overlaps in the landscape. Like I've seen some of the screenshots.
And like no two images. So you can also take photos, take screenshots off of that. So you end up kind of people posing with them, people posing the characters in different parts of the landscape, because they're GPS located. So, you know, and as you move yourself around that space, they don't rotate with you, but they change scale if you come closer to the GPS location, if you move farther away. So you can put them on, well, there's not so many hilltops here, but some of the screenshots Natalia may have seen were in Santa Barbara, where there's lots of hills and there's ocean, etc., and you can position the characters as you like. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for that. I hope you do that with this show.
I hope so too.
I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, it'd
really
be nice
awesome
to see them out in the gorgeous, I mean, the prairie landscape is so beautiful.
Yes, yes it is.
It's really, really like subtly beautiful in a way. The other projects I've shot in recent years have been in much more dramatic landscapes, but being here, and as I say, I'm from here, not here exactly, but close by, the detail in the prairie is really gorgeous. The one day we spent around Verdun, we were noticing the little prairie flowers coming up, and the juniper berries, and all the gorgeous, the color, the limited palette of color is actually quite striking.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. And I've actually been really, I feel like this is like the prettiest thaw I've seen. And I think partially because we got to see it not just in the city where you're like, what is that?
It's dirty.
Is that mud?
Yeah, it's like
shoes are going
mud,
to get
snow,
combination of
something.
Both.
But no, it was actually this like really pristine snow that was just like kind of subtly disappearing. And these prairie grasses and the combination of last year's grass and this year's grass already coming up a little bit, and
like
like
the geese coming back.
few like risky geese
sticking their heads up. You know, Brandonites, get out there and look at it before it's gone. The color right now is gorgeous, and the wind blowing through. We got blown off our feet the other day. It's just like, it's really nice just to be outdoors.
Sunday it was really windy.
Yeah, we were driving down Highway 5 from Riding Mountain, and it was like the car was like a sail.
Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. So you're using video now, and you have used video before. Have you always used sort of like digital video? Have you ever used good old VHS or beta video in your projects?
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, yes, you have? Okay.
Yes. I started making video probably in 97.
Okay.
Which is not necessarily pre-digital, but I went to grad school for art in New York, which is how I ended up there.
Okay.
And they didn't have a video department, so it was a matter of like sneaking in the back door in the film department and learning really old school, reel to reel. That's how I learned to edit video. Yeah, so that wasn't necessarily the only way to do it at that point, but that was the way I learned.
Okay. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer digital?
I like digital.
Yeah?
Yeah. In fact, I started drawing pretty recently. I think I was telling Natalia this the other day. Kind of accidentally, I went to Banff for an artist residency, and my computer died, and I had to do something for my 3 weeks that I was there. So I started drawing, and for a very long time, it was hard for me to get used to not being able to Command Z, delete, delete, delete.
Right.
I couldn't get my head around the problem solving. It's like, okay, I have to figure it out in a different way.
Oh dear, yeah, going back, doing it on not digital, especially when we're so used to it, right? I had to recall a telephone number a while ago, and I sit there and I'm like, I don't know. Like, where's my phone? I actually need to look it up. When I was younger, you memorized everything, addresses, telephone numbers, and I'm trying to teach my son our address, and I'm like, because you're not going to have a digital device, okay? You're only 5, so you need to at least remember this much.
Yeah, when you're 6, maybe you'll have one.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll see if it's in the budget. So you're from Winnipeg, and you've been in New York, you've been to Scotland. Have you ever had a show in Brandon before, or is this going to be your first time here?
No, I've never had a show in Brandon.
Oh, okay. So even though you're from the lovely province of Manitoba, this is still your first time here?
In Brandon?
Yeah,
yes.
in Brandon.
Well,
yeah.
not my first time here, but my first time here to have a show.
Right,
yes.
yeah. Well, that's really exciting then, because it's something it's been so close. Winnipeg's only about 2.5 hours away, and you get to have your show here, more localized.
But, you know, I mean, I live in New York, but I'm very attentive to what's going on in Canada art-wise, and like I've actually long admired the space. Like, and with their programming, it's really fantastic for Brandon to have such a high-class art gallery in town. It's pretty incredible for the size of the city.
Yeah, I actually went and saw it for the first time with the exhibition that's in town right now, and it's really beautiful space.
It's a beautiful space.
Very nice.
And wonderful people working there, so it's great to work with them.
And the food on opening night is really good. I was very excited about that, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we have amazing people making it.
So I have one more question for you in terms of your work. So usually, from what I understand, each piece that an artist does means something special to them. So what does that mean? Like, what special meaning does this piece have for you? Or have you figured that out yet? Maybe you don't know yet because you're still doing it.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you mean. Like, what does the piece mean? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I'm not sure yet because I'm still making it. I mean, the special thing for me is that it's like close to home.
Yeah.
You know, making it here is very special. I've wanted to do something in the prairies for a long time. And, you know, to deal with that landscape, the landscape of the place where I'm from.
Right.
So I guess at this moment, that's the special thing right now.
That's good. So you're here for 2 weeks, and then you flutter off to wherever it is artists go when they're done their little residencies.
Back to New York.
Back to New York,
to
then?
post-production land. That's where the magic happens, maybe.
Yeah, the blood, sweat, and tears, right? And continues on to the post-production aspect. Okay, and will you be coming back when the show opens? Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, I expect that you would, but I don't know, everybody's busy, people have different priorities, right? So I was hoping that we would see you again, which is good. Is there anything else that you ladies would like to add about anything about your show or about anything going on at the art gallery?
Well, if you're curious to look into Jillian's costume studio, and I'm also hoping to put up some film stills from like in progress.
Okay.
It is where the photo studio is at the art gallery. So if you know where the art gallery is, and you know where the community gallery is there, which is that kind of like long hallway gallery space. If you walk along there, you come to some glass doors, so you can look in and see some of the costumes that Jillian has been using, and some of the in-progress film stills. And also, exciting. I think our Facebook page will have some of those as well.
Very nice.
And we've been retweeting some of the ones that, like some actors, you know, take some shots and stuff like that. So,
all right.
So there's a little bit of a sneak peek.
Well, that's just maybe one other thing to say is that the actors have been saying, like, oh, do you mind if I take a photo of this while we're filming? And, like, absolutely. And they've been, like, sharing it amongst themselves because it's very much their piece, too.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they're very
absolutely.
much in it and involved and, like, suggesting places because I don't know the landscape.
Right.
People have been, besides the ones mentioned, those some of the actors are sometimes suggesting places and they're suggesting, you know, all kinds of aspects of the piece. So I think they feel, my impression from working with them is they feel very much like invested in it and like it's theirs too.
It's like a real community project, right? Everyone has a piece of it now. It's really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, ladies, for coming on the show today. It was great to have you. I enjoy seeing you as always, Natalia. It's quite fun.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right, and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, thank you to our viewers for watching today. As always, today's show has been brought to you by WCG TV and Westman Immigrant Services. Thanks very much and have a good day.